birds are singing. That always means something to me. I've seen jays, I've seen magpies this week, I've seen sparrows, like you name it. They love to come to my window and they love to fly at my feet. Call me the tattooed Snow White, but this week is extra different. I looked out my window today and what caught my eye was two magpies sitting on my fence, looking. They both looked at me. I looked at God. I'm like, what is it? What are they trying to tell me? And God is so interesting that all of creation sings his praises. So I'm like thinking, why are you guys here? Like, what is this? And I looked at God like, what are you trying to tell me? But then they stop looking at me and they start watching everything. Their little eyes are going to the same places. I don't know what they're watching. They do this for like 5 minutes and one flies away, but one is still watching. And they were harmless, pretty birds. You may feel alone, but there's always a watchman on the wall. I think a lot of times there's an idolatry on the prophetic, and there shouldn't be. And God should sit in the top seat where we go to him for everything, and everyone else is just little confirmation here and there, but sometimes when people are desperate, that's not what happens, and we don't want it to be an idolatry space. And there are other gifts that get looked over because the prophetic seems mysterious. But you know how many great gifts there are? The watchman on the wall. What's a watchman on the wall? There's people that seem to not be able to sleep well at certain times of the night, and that just is sort of a characteristic. It's not something that's in the Bible. It's just how they are. They just don't really sleep well. Or the Lord will wake them up to pray, and they'll just wake up and know they need to pray. They'll wake up and they'll pray for people. They'll go through their house and they'll pray for people. They're intercessors, but they're also watchful. They're people who are discerning. And you may not know that you have these people around you, but if you ask God for eyes to see and ears to hear, you might find out who they are. And on the opposite side of this, the devil is always watching. That's okay, because the watchmen on the wall are always watching too. The watchman on the wall is actually in many verses, and I'm going to read you one real quick. One of my favorites. Isaiah 62, 6 through 7. This one's from the Message. It says this: I've posted watchmen on your walls, Jerusalem. Day and night they keep at it praying, calling out, reminding God to remember. They are to give him no peace until he does what he said, until he makes Jerusalem famous as a city of praise. How can you take this today? Jerusalem, God's people. And we're God's people. We know that we have been adopted by the spirit of adoption, and we are no longer orphans. Day and night, these people pray. Many are elders. Some are young and don't understand why they have this thing where they wake up to pray, or they can't stop till they pray. They can't stop till they pay attention. And these people also alert you to things, and sometimes you got to use discernment because not every alert is an actual alert. But when you gain your discernment, you'll know the difference. But even though the devil is watching, the watchmen on the wall are watching too. And you're okay, And just from the pastoral counselor in me, I just want to say, you're safe. You're safe now, and they can't hurt you now. And you got to remember that when you feel like the devil is, closing in or monitoring you. And there are such things as monitoring spirits, but just as the devil tries to monitor what's going on in your life, God has people that are making sure that what's monitoring you is being monitored. God is so good like that. And I just want to practice something with you real quick. And if you do have trauma and you deal with worrying about, things like this, just reminding yourself you're safe. Like taking your hands like this, pressing them in, holding it for about 30 seconds. It mimics the pressure of a hug, lowers your blood pressure, helps to even out your nervous system, just woo-saw, And I don't know who you are that needs that today, but you could do that. You don't got to do it in front of people, but it's good to remind yourself, I am safe, I am okay, this is fine, I'm safe in my body, I'm safe in my home, I'm safe with God. There's nothing weird about that. That's just some like inner work that is good for you. If you guys ever need me, I'm in the office 12 to 8. You can find me on Brookekeithministries.com if you ever need us, and if you don't, I will always be here. I'm praying for you guys. I appreciate you guys, and I will see you again soon.